Qwen 3 ships with a 32,000 token window. On Hugging Face and in local llama threads, people stretch that same model to 1 million. No new brain, same weights, a position trick called YaRN. This video, how 32K becomes 1M, what actually changes and what breaks. 8 minutes, clear math, real caveats. First, the problem people are trying to solve. You want the whole repo in one prompt, or a long agent session that never forgets turn 1. 32K is roughly a thick chapter. 1M is closer to a small library. So of course local builders ask, can we just make the window bigger? A language model does not have a hard disk of memory. Every answer rereads one block, the context window. Tokens inside the window exist. Tokens outside never happened. That window is limited by how the model was trained to read positions. Qwen 3 was trained to about 32,768 positions. Past that, the rotary position code starts leaving the map it learned. Enter YaRN, yet another rope extension. Rope is how transformers encode where a token sits in the sequence. YaRN rescales those position frequencies, so a long sequence still looks familiar. You are not teaching the model new facts. You are stretching the ruler it uses to measure distance. Same notebook, bigger page numbers. Here is the only equation that matters. New length equals original length times factor. Original for Qwen 3 is 32,768. Factor 4, about 131,000. That is what Qwen officially validates. Factor 32, 1,048,576. That is the 1M patch. 32K times 32 equals 1M. That is the whole viral math. How you turn it on depends on the stack. In config, you set rope scaling type YaRN, factor 32, original max 32K. In vLLM, you pass that as an HF override and raise max model length. In llama.c++, you set context size to 1M, rope scaling YaRN, scale 32, original context 32K. Community GGUF packs already bake those metadata fields in. So downloading a YaRN 1M file is usually just accepting that recipe. Official story versus community story. Qwen says, we validated YaRN up to about 131K. That is factor 4, safer, supported, recommended when you need long docs. Community says, push factor 32 and ask for 1M. That can load, that can run passkey DMOS. That does not mean every token is equally useful. Accepting 1M tokens is not the same as remembering 1M tokens well. 3 traps that wipe the hype. Trap 1, static YaRN. Most local stacks keep the scale factor on for every prompt, short or long. So your tiny chat also pays the long context tax, and short answers can get worse. Fix, only enable YaRN when the job is actually long. Trap 2, VRAM and KV cache. A bigger window stores more keys and values. Memory climbs fast. 1M sounds free until the cache eats your GPU. Trap 3, lost in the middle. Models often attend more to the start and the end, and skim the swamp in between. A giant dump is not a retrieval strategy. So when is 1M actually worth it? Whole repo questions where chunking keeps breaking references. Long agent traces where early decisions must stay visible. Book length analysis, where you refuse to rebuild a RAG stack today. When is it not? Everyday chat, short coding edits, anything under 32K. For those, leave YaRN off and keep the native window. A practical ladder, not a flex. Step 1, stay on native 32K if you can. Step 2, if you need more, try factor 2 or 4 first, 65K or 131K. Step 3, only then jump toward 1M and measure retrieval on your own files. Needle tests and passkey DMOS are marketing. Your code base is the real exam. If the model misses a function defined at token 200,000, you do not have a 1M brain. You have a 1M funnel. Quick recap of the mechanism. Qwen 3 learns positions up to 32K. YaRN stretches rope so longer sequences still look in distribution. Factor chooses the stretch. 4 is officialish. 32 is the 1M community jump. Weights stay the same, the position map changes. That is why a 32K checkpoint can pretend to be a 1M model. What to say on Reddit without getting dunked? Do not say, we trained a new 1M Qwen. Say, we applied YaRN scaling, factor 32, on the 32K base. Do not say, it perfectly reasons over 1 million tokens. Say it can ingest 1 million. Quality depends on task, cache, and attention. Honesty is the difference between a tutorial and a karma farm. If you build agents, remember the product lesson. Long context is a bigger working set, not a free memory upgrade. You still need structure, summaries, tools, and stop conditions. Otherwise, you recreate context bloat with a fancier ceiling. 1M is a bigger landfill if you never take the trash out. Final map. 32K, native Qwen 3. 131K, YaRN factor 4, the supported stretch. 1M, YaRN factor 32, the community stretch. Enable only when long, measure on your files, watch VRAM. That is how 32K becomes 1 million without magic. Stretch the ruler, do not worship the number.